absorbs even more so you can feel dry. And locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplified Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplified Development Services.
The new GMC Sierra with hands-free driving offers the most advanced and luxurious pickup in its class. Yeah, it rocks.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
We are making the virtual HBCU experience available wherever you live through Stillman Online. We offer online degrees in business, criminal justice, psychology, and religion. Stillman also offers technology badges in cybersecurity and data analytics. You can participate in all student activities, fraternities and sororities, internships, graduation ceremonies, and much more. Apply for admission today at stillman.edu. Stillman College, where we prepare you for a different world.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Are you?
Fam. What it do? Today is the 1st of September, 2022. Welcome to Random Thoughts with DVP, and it's your host, me, DVP.
No, it's August 31st, 2022.
Oh, is it? Oh, snap. My bad. It's the 31st of August. I'm ahead of myself. I'm ready to get August over and done with. My bad. It's August the 31st. That's how you got a good team, but they sure keep you on point. All right. It's Random Thoughts with DVP. I'm still DVP, I think, unless somebody tell me different, but I'm pretty sure that's who I am today. I got some things on my mind, as always. And, throughout the show, we're going to do a couple of little things, because without my producer, this show wouldn't be possible. And it's my producer's birthday. He's celebrating 30 days, so I'm going to let him tell y'all exactly when it is, but we're going to celebrate it to the end of September. All right, even though we're at the end of August now, we're gonna give him 30 whole days, and he's responsible for this. So if you like the show, buy him a drink. If you love the show, get him a meal. If you can't figure out where you at, tell him where he can get him a good beard massage and all that other good stuff. All right, but I want to make sure first I say happy birthday to my super producer and the man who made this all possible, the one who got Random Thoughts with DVP to be where it is today, because he dared me to do his show, and damn, here we are. So first things first. Happy birthday, Roy! Show your face, let everybody see you. We're gonna get you a happy birthday all along in the show today, because I got to give you props. You see, he going strong with the full beard thing. So he got the bald head. So I ain't sure what's up with that mustache. It's looking a little light there, but what's up with the mustache?
Look, bro, I've been trying to figure that out for the longest. I'm like, I really need to find some dye, because what it is that it's black. Most of my mustache is still black. It won't go gray like the rest of my hair.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you can't really, it's thin. I've always had a thin. I've never had a thick mustache. So
I got you.
Yeah. So, but because it's black, it look like it's not there up against my skin.
I'm like, hey, he got that little baby mustache, but I know he had one. It wasn't as thick as mine, but I know he had one. All right, so we back to that. Like I said, that's the man who got it all started. That's my ace. We go back and forth. We do the Jedi and the Sith thing. He say he the Jedi, but I don't know. You can't have a beard and be a Jedi. The beard automatically puts you on the dark side, but just saying. All right, so let's get cracking here. Before we get into It's All Her Fault, Because y'all know it's her fault. Y'all know it's her fault. I'm confused on why it's her fault. But I want to talk about a couple things, and don't get it twisted how we start the show off. For those of y'all that don't know me or what I do, my background is in law enforcement and military. I did 22 years as a cop, and people want to tell me things about cops and defund, refund, yada 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 yada, and I hear them, and I try to take all their suggestions to heart and explain why they will or will not work. And as I look back at us, and we've talked about this on the show before, about the village and being responsible for the village, and everybody claims that they want to be a part of the village, but what most people don't want to do is they don't want to put into the village. They just want to take out of the village. And that whole mental concept is part of why you got such a problem with police. Because again, what we've been talking about all of 22 is it takes into accountability and responsibility. I was on a show the other night, and they was asking me about some police interactions. And some of the police interactions, when you want them on the quarterback, and they're wrong. And I tell people, we like to go to the end of the story, but nobody looks at the beginning of the story. And at the beginning of the story, what got the police to where they were? It was a call from the community for a problem they couldn't handle. Because if a lot of these problems are something where somebody could just talk to somebody or do this, then why ain't we doing the talking? Why do we call somebody with a gun and a badge to do the talking if it's as simple as talking to somebody? If me and Roy are beefing before you call the cops on us, if we ain't causing no harm to each other, we're just yelling and being frustrated. This is what I know. The cops ain't gonna come just because you say it's two dudes out here yelling at each other. You have to put in a couple of keywords to get them to come quick. See, and the minute you put in your 911 call that one of them got a gun and the cops show up and something happens, everybody be like, why the cops do this? The cops are giving bad information by bad players who make 911 calls. Well, they didn't have to do this, they didn't have to do that. Well, what was the whole purpose of the 911 call if it was that simple a fix? Why couldn't you just go out there and do it? This is a village. I'm sure that most of us grew up in less than stellar neighborhoods where we had the elders to come out and tell us when we were doing something wrong. We had Miss Mary come out there and tell us when we was too loud. We had people who monitored us and let us know when we was getting out of control. They didn't call the cops. So I'm kind of confused on why this is something we want everybody else to do, because we're asking a lot from people who ain't a part of us, and we don't want to take any accountability and responsibility. What's up, Antoinette? We don't want to take any accountability and responsibility for what we do in our own neighborhood, and then we call an outsider to come in and fix it. We asking this total stranger to come in and do something. Now, imagine, if you will, your house needs straightening up. You let a total stranger, you tell them to just come in and straighten it up, and they rearrange everything to where it makes sense for them. Now you're upset with them because they didn't do it like you wanted to do, but you called them to come do it. Why didn't you just do it yourself? And then you get mad at these people that you're paying, but you not getting no real input. And you keep coming up with suggestions where they can hire this, they can hire that. And as we sit back and talk about these mental health people who could be on the police force, who could answer some of these mental distress calls. Well, Antoinette is here. So I'm gonna just use Antoinette because that's my little buddy, and I know she ain't sensitive. If Antoinette called the police, and Antoinette, we're gonna say you got a son who's 25, okay? Antoinette called, what up, random chaos? I'm sorry, mindless chaos. We're gonna say Antoinette got a son. We're gonna make it be Brian Reveals. Antoinette's son is having an episode. Antoinette calls the police because she cannot handle her son. That in and of itself should give you a clue, because I don't know what it is y'all think about these professionals, but when you go see a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a therapist, or whatever, you go to them, you are not in distress. If any of y'all have these people that you go talk to, if you call them after hours, the message is the same thing. If it's an emergency, call 911. Professionals don't deal in these emergencies. Have you ever wondered why there ain't a licensed psychologist, therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, on any of these hostage negotiation teams, crisis intervention? That's not what they do. They like being in sterile environments where they have a lot of control, where they can get you to sit, where they can take notes. They're not on the fly people. They don't come in and deal with active, aggressive scenes. So how do you think this is going to work when Antoinette's son is having an episode and he has a mental break, but he's leaning toward violence? What do you think this professional is actually going to do? Understand this. In most instances, the ambulance or fire rescue, they won't go to a scene if it ain't safe. You know who makes it safe for them? The police. And don't get me wrong, I'm not glorifying the police. I'm just saying, for certain things that we want done, we have to look at what's real versus our jaded view of how things go. So when Antoinette's son is having his break, if Antoinette can't handle it, that means that there's a chance that it's above her head. So why does she feel the need to call her? She ain't calling 911 simply because he ain't making up his bed. She's not calling 911 simply because he won't turn the music down. 9 times out of 10, he's threatening Antoinette, and Antoinette is scared. So Antoinette is calling for the cops because Antoinette knows this ain't let me call my nephew, let me call my uncle, and let me get them over here to calm Brian down. It ain't that type of situation no more. And this is where I think people get caught up in saying what we could do. Well, we could take some of the police resources and put it toward these people, the mental health professionals. It sounds good. It sounds good. But how realistic is it? And that's what we get to with this. How realistic is it to make this happen based on what we know to be true in most of these episodes that break? For those of y'all who live in Atlanta, they talked about the guy at the Wendy's and whether or not a taser is a deadly weapon and why the police shot it. And I say quickly, as an observer, as a qualified observer who knows police tactics, the police made their mistake by not handcuffing him. Now, here you go. Here come the Monday morning quarterbacks. Why didn't he just call his sister and let his sister take him home and tow the car? Why didn't they? Well, once he swung it at them, he kind of took that option away from them. Well, they shouldn't have tried to handcuff him. You're right. They should have handcuffed him when they got him out the car. But here we got two white officers, one black man in a black neighborhood who was sleeping in his car at the driveway. Stay with me on this. Nobody tried to get him out. They called the cops. So if we got this village, why didn't the village try to wake him up? Why didn't the village try to get him to pull over? Why didn't the village take his keys and call his sister? Why did the village leave that up to the cops? Ask yourself these questions, because this is what we have to do. We're blaming everybody else for things that we don't want to have no parts of, but we want to tell people how to do their job. I can't tell Roy how to run this station. I actually can't tell Roy how to run this show. This show, Random Talks with DVP, is on my JBN. My JBN has ultimate say-so. Now, Roy gives me control over content. But if Roy sent me a message saying we finna take a commercial break, guess what that means to me? That means we gotta take a commercial break. I can't tell Roy, hey, I ain't ready to take a commercial break. I can't do that. I gotta take a commercial break. But Antoinette, what's systemic about it if we won't take responsibility and accountability for it? See, we like to keep saying things are systemic and systematic, and I'm not going to argue that point, but there are some things that we have to take control over, because if we keep letting other people control it, then we are the pawns in the game. We are the willing pawns in the game. If I don't like the way Roy is doing something, you know what my choice is? Leave. But I can't sit back and fuss about the way he runs my JBN if I'm a part of my JBN. If I don't like the way he does it, I need to learn how to do it. Otherwise, I don't have a beef because I don't want to put in the work to learn how to do it myself. I just want to put in my thought process on what he should do. How is that fair to him? It's kind of like cooking. People who cook don't like people telling them what to do. People, when they in their little kitchen, that's their personal space. They don't want people telling them what to do. Hell, some of them don't even want you in the kitchen with them while they're doing it. So if we truly believe that this game ain't set up for us, why do we keep rolling dice in the same game? Why don't we control our own villages? That's all I'm saying. The man didn't put us here. We came here voluntarily. We stay here voluntarily. At some point, accountability and responsibility have to be the marching order, not blame, 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 blame. We cannot keep blame, 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 because mindless chaos. We cool as two fans. I can't make him do what I want to do. I can do what I want to do. Brian gonna do what he wants to do. See, that's accountability and responsibility. For me to sit back and fuss about how he bringing us down, but I keep buying his product, I am empowering him. See, authority, power. Power is something we give to other people. See, police have the authority to arrest people. Police have the authority to do this, this, and this. When we call them, we give them power. We got mental health problems trying to manage mental health systems. Okay, so keep that thought in mind, Antoinette, because that's where I want to be with you right now. Roy, where you at? You with me or not, Roy? Because I need a back and forth here. It ain't that it's a conversation. It's a, if I know Roy has an issue and he's my boy, or Roy know I got an issue and he's my boy, Roy should know how to take care of me first. Roy can't keep reaching out. We do a show together. We do a live show together. If Roy needs to know that I'm diabetic, so if something happens, Roy can fix that. If Roy don't know, Roy can't sit back and second guess what other people should do. So once Roy knows that I'm a diabetic, Roy can leave the system up to fix me and complain about how long it took the medics to get there, or Roy can know how to fix the system. Roy can't sit back and say, oh, if he was white, they would have showed up quicker. Or if he was this, or Roy was there. Roy was the first responder. If Roy knew how to take care of business, Roy could have fixed it right then. So if you got somebody who is mentally unstable, for the longest, Roy never knew I suffered from depression because I hid it well. Nobody knew until I did a show about it. Roy didn't know how much I was panicking doing shows till I did a show and told him I was sweating like a pig, and I made him give me a bro hug so he could feel the pound of sweat that I had. Those things were my fault, because had I passed out, Roy wouldn't have had a clue as to why. Roy had no idea I was overheating. Not a clue. That's on me. But once Roy knows these things, Roy knows. Now, Roy can't say he don't know that I suffer from depression. He don't know what I do when I go through, but now he has a clue. But Roy ain't never seen me be manic or want to threaten people or want to kill people or whatever. But let's just say, for shits and giggles, we doing a show we doing a live show, and all of a sudden I have a mental break and I snap and I pull out my pistol, start telling me what I'm gonna do. See, it sounds cute at this point because Roy ain't a family member. He don't live with me. Roy may try to talk to me, but Roy ain't finna step in front of that pistol. I don't think Roy that stupid. And Roy gonna call 911. Roy can't tell the cops what they should do with a pistol in my hand about what he think they should do. Help me out, Roy. What you got to say? Because I see you took a deep breath there.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm on. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but see, like you said, that's the difference, because I would step in front of him, because I know that that's not where you really want to be. I know that's not the space that you really want to be in, and that something's going on. I do now know that like you said, now that I do know that you suffer from depression, it's a different situation. You know, I may do things like, hey man, look, I got treated on, I'm called treatment, got on the line. You know, she's coming through. Calm down. You know, I'm gonna say something. You're right. I'm going to say something to you and get in between you and other people before you do anything. But again, that's because you're my boy. It's not even a matter. I mean, it goes back to your point about being a part of the village. I'm not gonna call the police because I know the first thing they coming out there with, all they know is a cat got a gun. So they're coming out already ready to defend themselves as well as other people.
Right. And he already knows something about me. So now if I'm doing the show, because I've done the show, because I needed to expose it, if Roy sees me get a little teary-eyed or my mood changing, now he knows why it might be changing, so he can try to do a quick intervention. But now, again, if I have violent tendencies, and this is what I want to talk about with the mental health. If I got violent tendency and Roy, who knows me, and we're going to say me and Roy family now, because this is what we keep missing out on. If we're family and Roy, and it's above Roy's head, I done swung a hammer at Roy. I done tried to hit Roy with the weed whacker or the chainsaw. When Roy called a cop, Roy no longer got input. And if we ain't learning ourselves how to deal with our own family members, why do we leave it up to strangers? See, that's not systemic or systematic. That is lazy. Roy can't know that his daughter is bipolar and don't learn how to deal with bipolar people, learn more about it. That is Roy being ineffective as a parent. That has nothing to do with the system. Roy needs to talk to somebody to learn what he's got to do, because this is his daughter. This is his village. This is what we're not doing, but we want to blame everybody else. The mental health assistance ain't coming no time soon. So what do we do? What do we do? We can either work on it ourselves, or we can keep waiting for somebody to help us that ain't never helped us. See? And again, go ahead, sir.
Well, I'm going to say, because you know me, I think this is one of those things that I do. I don't necessarily know if we disagree on it or not, but I do think that when we talk about, I don't believe in defunding the police department. I personally think that people don't get paid enough money to do the job, just like I don't think teachers get paid enough money to do their job. But at the same time, because of where we are in a society, when you have police officers dealing with these mental health issues so often, I think they do need to have another, I don't know if you're making another division or something, but just like the other people, when they get these calls, that they need to send people out who are trained in mental health, because it's a different situation. Normally, you would expect that somebody who they're having a mental health issue with isn't brandishing a weapon. So, right, as long as they're not brandishing a weapon, you let the cop go out there with them, but you let that advocate or whatever you want to call those people, let them do that. Let them try to de-escalate these people, those folks who have had that training. Now, again, I completely agree with you that family members need to learn how to do that, because I think that's a problem that a lot of us have, and I can speak to that from personal experience, that we haven't, because we as families haven't taken the time to really understand how to stop triggers from our family members who are having episodes. And we need to do that. We need to know how to do
that. And one of the things that I was trying to tell people about with the whole police issue, it's not about defunding, it's about funding correctly. Because what people don't understand is, I can be trained for this. My training is going to be the same as a mental health professional to a smaller degree, because I'm a first responder. But what happens is, we're going to say, y'all stay in a 10-block neighborhood. This is my zone. Okay? So there are 5 of these 10-block neighborhoods. Each one should have an officer. Well, guess what? The police are short-staffed, so there's only 3 officers. So now what does that mean? When one officer has a call and he could get backup if other people were there, his backup is handling other calls. And this is where people get lost in the system, understanding you can't fight a fire by yourself. when you're trying to fight a burning building by yourself, the building's gonna burn, and everybody wants you to go in there and save people. Well, that's not logical. But had there been enough people, you could have got 3-4 other people to come there. See, we put these cops in can't, and they in can't win situations. When I give the scenario about me going to the lady's house who all she said was her son was having a nervous breakdown. Well, I've been crisis intervention trained, hostage negotiation, verbal judo. I got all of this. I'm good. I get to the door. She come running out. Here come Buddy with a butcher knife. Now, with all my training, and Buddy coming at me with a butcher knife and his mama running through the door, what point should I talk to him or try to talk him down? And see, this is what people, well, they could have done what? Could have done what? I could have took a stabbing for him, and somebody said, you could have bagged off of this. I want y'all to try running backwards while somebody got a knife at you and tell me how good. See, we talk a lot about things based on some TV shit, based on TJ Hooker bouncing his baton and getting stuff done. Yeah. You can call the police. Antoinette, saying you can't call the police is a nigger statement. The police do way more good than they do harm. We just don't want to accept that because it's easier to keep saying what they don't do. But for every bad cop story you can find me, I can find you. I promise you I can find you 10 good cop stories. Understand this. There are 50 states in this continental United States of ours. Each state is made up of a bunch of different police departments. Fulton County Sheriff's Department got 1,000 officers. I guarantee you, in the state of Georgia, you won't find 1,000 bad cop incidences. We're talking about less than 1% with bad cops. We like to promote it like we like to promote foolishness and effery. See, we just saw 2 instances where people getting fries at McDonald's murdered somebody or was wanted for murdering somebody. You can't make that be the norm, even though it made the news. A mom calls her son who is wanted for murder. I'm sorry, he was in the car, but he's wanted for murder, and he gonna kill somebody over some fries? So when cops say that that's what black people are, and what's the first thing they say? Oh, that ain't all black people. As soon as we find a bad cop story, we try to say that's what all cops are. But you can't make that be the norm because it's not happening every day. It ain't happening every week. And with as many cops as there are in this country, if there were bad cops, there would be a new story every other hour, and it still wouldn't cover 3 states worth of cops. So at some point, though, we can't keep blaming people. We can't keep blaming the system for the things that we refuse to do. If we're going to have a community, if we're going to have this village, everybody needs to step up and put in this village and stop trying to take. Everybody wants something from the village. Everybody wants somebody to watch their kids. Everybody wants somebody to watch their house. Everybody wants somebody to look out for them, but they ain't looking out for nobody else. When I was on another show and I talked about the village and I asked everybody, I think I did it on here. How many of y'all can call your neighbors? Can call your neighbors? To say, hey, can you run over there and make sure I lock my door? Most of us can't do that, but you claim you want to be part of a village. Can your neighbor call you? Do you even know your neighbor's name? You see him and you wave at him. So you're not part of a village. What was that, Roy?
I know, I'm just laughing, man, because it's actually funny. I mean, it's because it's true. I think the last 2 places that I've lived. So when I first moved up here, when I was over in Athens, I knew my neighbors. I knew everybody, or I knew the people who were in the 4 corners, as they say, to my left, to my right, in front of me and behind the street and stuff. So I knew those people. It was a different neighborhood, and that took me back to what I used to know, how I used to be wherever I lived at. But since I've been over here in Atlanta, I knew one neighbor, and I lived in a cul-de-sac when I was over in Decatur. I knew one of the neighbors, and not even knew them. I had met them just because I was renting a house from a friend.
You muted yourself.
Place, and that was kind of how that went. But like now, I know one guy who is the gentleman who lives next door to us. I actually don't have his number, but he has mine, and we communicated. But yeah, I don't like people across the street. No, I don't. You're right.
And this is on us, and we can't blame the system on that. And you're right. And that's why I hate when people keep talking about what cops do based on what one does. Because then when cops blame all blacks for something that one black did, it ain't fair. But it's the same system. We can't keep letting one or two instances dictate a whole species, a whole type of, because there are tons of great cops. Tons. Like I said, and when you do the sheer numbers, like I said, Fulton County got 1,000 deputies. 1,000. So one department, if you take every bad incident you see and fire an officer for that, Fulton County, just the sheriff's department alone, if you blame them for every bad incident in the whole country, I bet they would still have over 900 officers. So it ain't the officers. Don't get me wrong, there are some bad ones, but we got to look at the whole system in place. And this is where we got to take the villages back. This is where we got to stop blaming everything else. This is what the second half of the show is going to be about. It's all somebody else's fault. At some point, it is our fault. We keep talking about accountability and responsibility. We keep talking about these villages that we want to have. We keep talking about all these things that were back in the old days. I'm 57. See, back when I grew up in the projects, we didn't see the cops a lot. But the true OGs, the true criminals, they made sure that crime stayed to a minimum so that people didn't need to call the cops. See, there were certain things that just wasn't going to happen. They took care of little things. So when we start having all these mental health problems, that was something that we started doing to each other because all of us didn't interact with the cops. We interacted with each other. As we start taking from each other, as we start taking away from the village and being greedy and selfish, that was not systemic or systematic. That was personally selfish. When I tell about selling drugs, oh, we didn't bring no drugs over here. I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. It's cute. It's cute, it's cute, it's cute. But we sold them. And we chose to sell them to each other. We chose to sell them to our own kind. And everybody talks about how pervasive it was. But when I ask, why ain't we all crackheads? Everybody didn't give into the crack epidemic. Only a few gave into it. But it made it seem like the whole neighborhood was doing it. The whole neighborhood wasn't doing crack. There was only 4 or 5 people. But everybody kept saying that it's a crack epidemic. But if I challenge all y'all right now, how many crack addicts do you know versus how many people do you know? How many of y'all would say it's 10% of the people that you know are crackheads? 10% of the people you know were crackheads. But we'll keep saying crack took over our neighborhood. So if less than 10% of your neighborhood was crack phase, how did crack take over the neighborhood? We gave up. And we gave in because we didn't want it to be the village. We wanted somebody else to take care of our problem. The easiest thing for us to do was to move out, not to try to fix it. But we'll blame others. Well, you see that Trina telling you happy birthday. My father was a retired federal police officer. I hear you. I just don't agree. We got some, I ain't saying that we ain't got some real bad people. We just don't have the numbers that people are trying to push. Like we don't have bad blacks and the numbers that the media tries to push. Even though we will co-sign that and keep talking about how bad we are, that's on us because we let that narrative get pushed and we promote it. We promote it through song, through hype, through World Star Hip Hop, through TMZ. We promote this. Why is that? If we spend as much time listening to trash, music, TV, or whatever, if we spent that energy becoming better educated, becoming more associated with our neighbors, think about how easy the system would be. See, so from now on, when your neighbor playing loud music, can you just call them or send them a text, ask can they cut it down so you can go to sleep versus calling the cops? Can we do a little bit more? What's up, Linda? Oh, look, I'm feeling special now. But can we do a little bit more on our end to take back that control and power that we're giving to total strangers, asking them to regulate a system that we're afraid to regulate ourselves. At some point, we have to step up. Roy gave an example where his daughter had to work at night by herself. Why? Because there wasn't enough people. So if something would have happened, what was she supposed to do? She's only one person. Consider the same thing. Roy became her backup by sitting outside. So consider the same thing. You got one cop trying to police a lot of stuff because nobody else showed up. If the village helps him, which is what we did back in the day, man, we had officer friendly. We had a lot of things, but we didn't have a lot of police walking around our neighborhoods, and most of us grew up in poor neighborhoods. We can't tell you what our officer name was because we didn't see him. We didn't do a lot. Today's rap music, a generator for, again, why do we listen to this crap music though? We got iPads, iPods, iMusic, we got Pandora, we got all these streams of music. Do we have to listen to that crap rap music? It's a choice that we make. It's not systematic. It's not systemic. These are choices. Guess what? Everybody right now, don't get it twisted. Don't y'all go nowhere. Linda, you know what y'all had a choice to do today? Y'all had a choice right now to listen to Random Thoughts with DVP or watch ESPN. See, these are choices. So you can't say Random Thoughts made you do something because you could have went to look at ESPN. I don't think Roy got the power to make y'all stay. See, we give up our choices and we blame other people. How can we do that? Me and Roy split because I wanted something different and better. Roy didn't grab me by the collar and tell me I had to stay because he couldn't do that. That was my choice. I went out there, I saw shitty grass, I came running back. Oh, Roy, you should have never let me leave. Roy didn't tell me to leave in the first place. Roy had no control over that. Roy could say, hey, stay here, you're gonna like this better. But I don't believe him. I want to go somewhere else. At some point, we have to be accountable and responsible for our own decisions, because then and only then can we make effective change. If we keep blaming it on somebody and everybody else, we ain't going to never look in that mirror and say, this is where I effed up. Oh, it's Roy's fault I left. It ain't Roy's fault I left. It was my fault. It was my choice. And I came back. Roy had a choice. Roy could have been like, see, man, you left me. I ain't finna do this with you no more. Or he could have said, welcome back. He said, welcome back. I said, I'm back, brother. We here. We finna make this happen. We're gonna make it right. We stopped actually raising children. No. See, this is, again, when the crack epidemic took place and this village that we so claim we love, when those of us who could get ahead got ahead and we ran out, we left people behind. So a lot of these kids weren't raised by anybody. They were looking for love and they had children. So, and it's like when people keep telling me about mothers and fathers, and I ain't finna knock mothers and fathers, but more important than mothers and fathers are having good role models. Most of the good role models left to do better. When we lost good role models, we lost the next generation, because now everybody got their own space. There's nobody to respect. But again, that's a choice we made. Linda, you try to do stuff to go back and help the neighborhood. Awesome thing. Somebody asked me about doing something. And me and Roy talked. There's some things we want to do. It's a whole lot easier for Roy because Roy is single. All of our children grown. Well, DVP is freshly married. You got an 8-year-old. So that takes away some of the time I can help with the community. But what I can do, what I often try to do, is get everybody together and come up with solutions and systems so that we can try to make this work. Judge got tired of seeing the parents in court with silk shirts and multiple gold chains. You're right. They had time to go shopping, but they didn't have time to parent. They had time to call on other people. But again, Linda, this village that we keep talking about, this village that we always talk about, we need to get back to. Who wants to contribute to the village? Not who wants to be a part of it, who wants to contribute to the village? Nobody. Everybody just wants something from the village. We talk about how we miss it, but clearly we don't miss it because we're not trying to get back to it. We always talk about old school stuff, but we don't talk about the standards that it took to keep the village. Why were the projects so productive for a lot of us? You see a lot of great people came from the projects. Why is that? There was solidarity. There was respect. There were rules. What happened to all the renegades? Do y'all remember y'all neighborhood bully? Somewhere along the way, he got pushed out. And when he went to jail, didn't nobody care no more. Life went on and everybody was happy. Remember the Candy lady with all the goods and stuff? Nobody was allowed to break in her house. Nobody was allowed to harm her. She didn't have to lock her door. We had a system. We had a system. The village was a co-op. Linda, your mama would feed me when my mama was working late. My mom would feed Roy when his mama was working late. We took in total strangers because we were a collective. All Roy mama needed to see was me playing with Roy. She was going to find out my name and she was going to find out which apartment I lived in. My mama knew Roy mama knew your mama. Nobody could do anything. That was the village. Right now, again, when I ask y'all, how many of y'all know y'all neighbors? For those y'all who got kids, when your kids come over and other kids come play, do you know their parents' name? Your kid just out there playing. You don't know who they playing with. So when they say, can I go over Little Susie's house? You say no because you don't know them. You don't even go over there to meet them so that they can go do it. Ain't that what we always did? We went to somebody's house, let it rain. And everybody ain't going to their own house. We're going to figure out whose house to go to when it rains. But everybody knew them. All Roy got to say is, hey, Mom, I'm going over Miss Bell's house, play with Darren. And she's like, okay, be back home for the street lights come on. That was it. She didn't say where they stay. Who is that? Because she knew this was the village working at its finest. What tore the village up? Because again, I dare y'all to tell me that y'all, the 10% of the people that you know or knew were crackheads. But we will stick behind the narrative that crack messed us all up. But most of us ain't never been on crack. Most of the people we know ain't never been on crack. So how could something so finite mess up the whole neighborhood? And that's where we don't have answers because you know what? Now we have to face reality. It was an epidemic, but it didn't mess us up. We just chose not to deal with it. We found a way to do better and we left and did it. When we get to what the police can do, what politicians can do, what so-and-so can do, what this people can do, what that people can do. Again, we put it in somebody else's hands. We put it in somebody else's hands and we want them to do what we want them to do, even though we wouldn't do it. Roy like, damn, why they ain't just try to talk him down? Well, bro, you were there first. Did you try to talk him down? Shit, no, that ain't my job, player. No, it ain't my... It's everybody's job when we doing this village thing. It's everybody's job. But we don't want that job. What's part of the Negro National Anthem? I don't get paid for that. So we don't do it. Then when you call somebody who get paid for it, and they have no vested interest in this village, their job is to put things back in this place. So if the easiest way to get this neighborhood back to being calm is to lock somebody up, that's what they do. Oh, they didn't have to do this. You're right. It's Monday morning quarterback, and there are a lot of different options. But in the heat of the moment, what was the best option? What was the best option? Because despite all the vicious rumors, cops don't get trained to get spit on. They don't train to get shot. They don't get trained for a lot of craziness that people want to give them credit for. We earn money. We earn spending money by cutting grass, babysitting. Now I see parents, their kids standing in the street with buckets wanting something for free because that's what we always do. We want something for free. Why? Why? Which is going to take us to the second part. But I'm holding off on that, but I'm coming close because it's 6:45. But when did we become such a nation, such a color of beggars? Roy, how old are you again?
52, man.
All right, Roy, 52. Do you remember seeing so many panhandlers when you were growing up?
Yeah, no, I honestly, I didn't see. I grew up in Palm Beach or Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach. I didn't see my first panhandler until I moved to Miami in '87. Like, I was shocked when somebody came rolling up to the car, like, yo, what is this?
And then look at all the panhandler scammers we done found, because everybody found a good way to get money. Just go sit there and cry a sob story. But that's us. I hate panhandlers. I don't understand how you can be a panhandler with all these people wanting jobs. All these jobs hiring. Everybody and mama hiring. And you ain't got to be the best. They hiring for cleanup crews, so you can stink and come clean up in the middle of the night. Take you a bird bath and then shower at work. All right, law enforcement took the crack epidemic and put it all on black people. Either they were owning it or selling it. And we fed into that. We fed into it, Sam. That's why, I was having this conversation with Trina, and I asked her, Trina, how many crack addicts did you see in your neighborhood? I asked Roy, how many crack addicts did you see in your neighborhood? For the amount we... So how did one person destroy a whole neighborhood? How did we perpetuate that myth? We perpetuated that myth. Most people can say 1 or 2, maybe 3. But again, you can't point to 10%. So if 10% of your community ain't crackheads, how could 10% of the community destroy 90% of us? Give me a percentage, Trina. Trina says she saw large amounts of crackheads in her neighborhood.
Okay.
But why are they displaced? Why are they unconnected? Why are they disjointed? Why? See, again, you know what the village did? A lot of us grew up with our grandparents or aunts and uncles. We don't do that no more. Is that systemic or systematic? See, there's a disconnect with us, and we blaming the system. Because, and that's what we got to look inside. What happened with us? So what happened with us? Why did we stop taking care of our family members? You ain't got to agree with me, Antoinette. Just tell me where I'm wrong. If you don't have the numbers, you can't make it be true. We will support a false narrative to make us feel better. We don't, if I ain't got to do nothing, I feel better because now there is no call to action. What oppression, Antoinette? Stop. Antoinette, you give me dude excuses. When the dude say, welfare made us do this. No. Women got on welfare. There was only one way for one reason. Let me read. Welfare. When a woman got on welfare, she was usually in her home, not the family home. See, if she's in my home, why would Trina need to be on welfare? Why would she need to be on welfare if she lives in my home? And if she's in my home and she applies for welfare, how could they make me leave my house? For her to apply for welfare, that means I ain't working. That means I ain't doing that. I'm trying to ride her coattail. I ain't stepping up to the plate. And for far too long, women, it's all y'all fault. Y'all have been guilty of letting us ride your coattails as opposed to vice versa. Manless homes. My point exactly. So if the man didn't live in the home, how did you break up the home that he didn't live in, Antoinette? And see, dudes love to say this one, and they hate me when I say something to different. Now, I know some people got on welfare for whatever other reason. But again, if it's my home and Trina has to apply for welfare, there's a problem. There's a problem. It ain't the government's problem. How do I have it backwards, Antoinette?
My bad, y'all. I just realized that the comments wasn't coming up on the screen.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about that too.
I'm like, I see all these comments. That same one on the screen. So, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I ain't saying there were no crackheads in the neighborhood. I ain't saying that. There were plenty. I'm just saying, was it more than 10% of the neighborhood? Was it more than 10% of the neighborhood? Real numbers. Not a lot. Not of this. If in the average, we're going to use the projects. I'm going to use the projects that I know here. Every building had 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, every building had 10 apartments in it. Every building had 10 apartments. There were at least 30 of these buildings, which is small. That's the street. So 30 times 10 is 300. So out of these 300, that means you need 10%, 30 of them to be crackheads. So the minority took over. If we use Linda's numbers, which are a bit excessive if you ask me, 30% were using and 40% were selling. So they still ain't the majority. So how did they take over? Because we let them. Antoinette, I love y'all. And Linda's one of my favorite people. And y'all know I love Trina. We got way too many smart Black people for us to keep saying poor education. How did I get to be smart? I ain't never been to, well, let me not say that. I have been to college, but I didn't go to college until I was in my 40s. I didn't go to college. I only went to public schools. At some point, when do we say we gave up and stopped trying? At some point, when do we say it was easier for us to say no snitching than to get people out of our neighborhood? At what point do we say we have a problem? How do we fix it? Not what can they do for me? Crackheads were still in committing crimes, and the sellers were aiding and abetting. Again, Linda, I'm using strictly your numbers. You said 30% were crackheads, 40% were selling. So the majority got ran out by the few. Because I still will say your numbers are way too high. If 40% of the neighborhood is selling, you're on mute. If 40% is selling, who they selling to in the neighborhood? Ain't that many people. Because remember now, we ain't got no money. So where do we get this money to become junkies? So we keep acting like being a junkie was free. It wasn't. What did you say, Roy?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things or challenges that we really have to look at when we're talking about this stuff in this, as we call it, the crack epidemic, in the numbers. Because and I get what Linda's saying. She's based on her numbers. She's saying that the crack problem was the majority of the community, and that's where I think it's wrong as well. I think that what it was is that I still think I agree with you that it was a lower number. I wouldn't put it any more than 15%, honestly, and that for me is both users and sellers, because what they did is that those people who were selling instilled fear in the community. See, that's where all of this stuff switched at. And I think that's what people really got to, if you think about it, when we start looking at how things adjusted or shifted during the crack epidemic, it was a different way for our families. Because see, like most of the people who tuning into the show and watching the show grew up in the 70s. And then we had our teenage years in the 80s. So we went through that transition. You know, civil rights movement, they ended up stopping, unfortunately, in the 70s, started this whole pimp thing and all that stuff in our community, as they call it, the black exploitation in our movies and everything. But what they did is they started showing a different view of our community, and we started buying into that view. That's what we have to stop, and that's what we have to change, is that we bought into the view that these other people said. We lived in the communities, and we still believed everything the news said about what was going on in our neighborhood, even though we know it wasn't true.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. Thank you, Trina. I saw the happy birthday. But yeah, that's the
and we start perpetuating it.
I think it's well, we do perpetuate it, and like your boy's song, and I don't know how I lost that song, but that snitching, I mean, it is. Because in the 70s, if somebody did something to my grandmama and the dude across the street saw it, guess what the hell? He may not have been able to fight them, but he damn sure gonna tell my uncles or somebody else. He not gonna say nothing to nobody, you know. And that's what happened in the 80s with the crack epidemic, because the crack epidemic created fear in our neighborhoods. It took the person away who was doing the stuff. And honestly, I hate to say it because it changed. The whole drug thing changed. I can say this from a personal fact because I was an athlete, and when I lived and grew up in Palm Beach, I was an athlete. I knew all the cats that dealt drugs. They wouldn't let nobody touch me. They wouldn't let nobody sit there. No, y'all leave the athletes in the community. They said, no, y'all leave them alone. They can't get nothing. If we find out you sold something, we gonna kill you. We gonna deal with you. You know, and again, that changed because then what they started doing is you started getting high schoolers who were dealing drugs. They started making their sellers younger, and then that's how it started trickling in and get into a place where we had those other issues. Because you're not gonna you can't be 27 walking around on the high school ground. But hell, if I'm in science class with an old boy and he wants something and I got it, I'm gonna give it to him. You know, and so this is the thing. I think that's what we have to get back to the place where our communities are no longer afraid to say something, because that's where we are now. People are afraid for their lives, honestly, to say something. I think the biggest thing, and I was trying to pick up the example. I'm gonna use another example. We talk about Bill Cosby all the time, and how Bill Cosby changed the perception of the middle class Black family. Not in our eyes, because you can't tell me that didn't none of us know families like the Cosbys. I mean, we may not have been friends with all of them, but we at least seen their asses before. We know they existed. The thing the one that for me that made the biggest difference was Rock. And they got rid of Charles Dutton because Rock was showing the average person that you could make a difference in your community. That's the one that really hurt me when we lost Rock. And they started, and you got to look at it. Charles Dutton didn't get much work after that. They know what they're doing in this media game. That people don't understand. That's why we in it, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. Got on my soapbox.
And Rock was a good example for more than one reason. Rock was a convicted felon. Rock was a success story that to this date, nobody still promotes him like we should. He was a success story. F. Tim Allen. Everybody, oh, Tim Allen went through. Rock was a convicted felon.
Oh, hold up. Let's make this real plain. The same time that Rock show was on, y'all know that home improvement.
Yeah.
Tim Allen show was on. And you know that both of them was convicted felons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tim Allen got the royal treatment.
Oh, okay, Roy. Antoinette done dumped me. She said she loved you now. I don't care. But and this is all I'm saying. When we got a chance to promote positivity or change amongst us, we got to stop waiting for other people to do it. See, when we talk about, when I come on here and I tell y'all things we can do, and people are like, why are you always doing this? Because remember now, I talked a lot about accountability and responsibility. We have to start taking those to heart and stop blaming other people. And until we do that, everything is our first two responses to everything is going to be systemic and systematic. If I know somebody ain't shit, why am I dealing with them? See, then that's stupidity. That ain't on them no more. That's on me. Well, he took advantage of me. Well, once you know he's taking advantage of you, how do you still let him take advantage of you? See, that's a choice. And it's easier. It's easier to ride that wave of contentness and not make a change than to risk failure and step out on your own. But who knows? You might rise up. Rock, a great example. Judge Mathis, a great example. We don't talk about them enough. And I ain't even a big Judge Mathis fan, but I gotta be impressed by what he does. You know, I did a show yesterday, and they want to bring up Umar. Y'all know I got no love for Umar. Why are we talking about Umar when LeBron got a school? Just like that. You talk about this other guy who's doing nothing. We got great role models that we can piggyback on and ride to that crest and show our kids how great they can be, even when they come from nothing. But if we keep telling them that they're oppressed, that they don't know nothing, that they ain't gonna be nothing, and we don't give them no examples, what are we doing? That ain't the system that's doing it, because most of them ain't talking to the system. Most of them are talking to us. And when they talk to us, we tell them, oh, well, you know, the system is going to be against you. So what are they looking forward to? Somebody made a little statement about, oh, it's crazy. I got to risk my life and join the military to get ahead. Where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? So you'll go work at 7-Eleven and get shot, but you don't consider that risking your life. And ain't no benefits coming from 7-Eleven, but you think joining the military and learning a trade is life-threatening? Because you want to shame people. And I ain't got no beef with college people. Roy went to college. Linda went to college. Trina went to college. Most of y'all probably went to college. I ain't got no beef with college people. But the military will send you to college for free, give you a trade, and pays you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. As opposed to giving people options, if we don't like an option, we'd rather shame somebody's option. Man, you crazy. You going to school, all you're going to do is get in debt. If Roy want to go to school and get in debt, then guess what? Let Roy live Roy's best life. But we would rather... But we would rather shame somebody for being different than us as opposed to letting them do their thing. Because I'm still anti-college in the biggest sense. Go to trade school, go to tech school. I don't see the point of getting in debt unless you are in a career field that requires extensive training. You can join the military at 17. Why do you have a drug felony before you're 17? See, that's a question we got to look at when we don't give these people options. And we set ourselves up for failure with some of our fake options where we keep telling everybody to start your own business. So I start a business that ain't making money. I get my child to work for me that I can't pay. What did I just do? I set him up for failure. I don't want him to work at Walmart. I want him to be part of the family business. But he ain't getting no money. And let me just tell you this. A lot of what we do is because we don't have Asian qualities where we respect the family name and tradition. Was that Antoinette's comment?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Antoinette, I don't know what everything you talking about, but there are very few things that require extensive training is for doctors and lawyers. Extensive training is for mathematicians and bridge builders. But to be most things that it required more OJT than college. Extensive, go ahead. It don't take extensive training to be a pilot. Hell, I just seen some 20-year-old kid get a pilot license. It can't. Now he can't fly no fighter jet, but he didn't have to. Go ahead. He talking to you now, Antoinette. You finna quit him now. He disagreeing with you. Go ahead.
She said that the man put us where we are. It was that comment that had me just like,
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, it was right before the one that you commented on. So here's what I think. And this is the irony of this whole situation for me is that I've come to these conclusions after being around and in the system on all of the different sides. because like I've worked in child services, I've worked in mental hospitals, I've worked in all of these different areas that are now a part of the bigger problem that we have as a community. And I think that's the first thing that people don't understand, that this is so much more economic than it is racist. It's about the economies of what this do. So let me explain to you what I mean when I say that. We will never win the war on drugs. Never. The United States will never win the war on drugs. Because if we do, you are going to end up shutting down over a third of the law enforcement. You're going to shut down probably six different industries that are centered around drugs and the things that they either cause or ways to deal with them. And that's why we're in the space that we are now, because what did they do? They took the crack epidemic of the 80s and they ran through the Black community. And now what's the problem? It's opioids. And them ain't happening in our neighborhoods. And they have moved on to a new set of people. What I say is the man has created the environment. They have put the environment in front of us. And unfortunately, many of us have chosen to engage in it, whether we're doing it from a usage perspective or we have become a seller or proprietor of it. And that's what we're doing. Because again, trust me, as someone who went through some stuff, I had every opportunity to get into drug trafficking. I used to drive between Florida and Georgia, Florida and Atlanta. I was literally on the road 3 weekends out of every month, coming back and forth, to the point where I got to know officers and people in different cities and stuff where I would stop at and would be seeing them at the gas stations and seeing these people all there. I had people who came up to me and like, yo, man, I need you mind, okay, well, I'm gonna go back and ask hypothetical. Which part is the blanket hypothetical, Linda? But I had people who would ask me to do these things. And believe me, it was sometimes when my money was real funny and low. And I came like yay close to being like, yeah, dog, let me get that package. You know, and that's what we had to do. It like Dee said, at some point, you've got to make a choice, and we've got to be responsible for the choices that we make. People who sell drugs in our community, I'm sorry, that like, to me, outside of the physical attacks and abuses where it's rape and stuff like that, to me, drug dealers in our communities are the worst because they're destroying the places that they live in. And I watched that. I saw people do that, you know, and it's like, and it's like, how do you justify killing your own people in a sense? And I hate to say it, yeah, I knew one dude who was a drug dealer, but guess what? He sold his drugs all to the people out at Palm Beach Gardens. He didn't sell no drugs to nobody in Revere, which is the Black neighborhood. Palm Beach Gardens out there with the PGA and all that was at. Them rich white kids. That's who he sold his drugs to. He wasn't doing the things in his community, tearing the people down. He literally wouldn't even sell stuff to people in the community. So did I have a little bit more respect for him? Yeah, I did. And call me what it is or whatever, but that was because that was my home. He wasn't like them other cats that was just, let me get my money, let me get mine. Like what the Tupac song say? Dude said, hey, I made a G today. He said, but you made it in a sleazy way. You're killing your own people. And when we have to take responsibility for that when our people start doing those things and we don't stand up and tell them you have to stop. So yeah.
And
that's cool.
Can't get around that part.
That's cool, D. It's on you.
All right. But you know, this is one because I'm trying to do better as a host because my team be fussing at me. My wife be fussing at me. Right on somebody who don't fuss at me right now. But this is one of them things where, like I say, I'm tired of seeing people talk about the village and nobody wants to contribute to the village. Everybody wants something from the village. Everybody wants something from the government, but then they quickly tell you they don't vote. They don't like politicians, but you want something from them. I can't keep telling Roy, you ain't shit. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Can I get a show? And you see the precarious position that we in. Everybody hate politicians. Everybody hate politics. But then you wonder why the government ain't doing nothing for you. I ain't finna vote, man. All of them crooks. But can I get that crook to put 20 grand in my neighborhood? That doesn't make sense. At some point, we have to be accountable and responsible. We have to start taking control of our neighborhood. Remember now, not y'all in particular, but everybody hollering we royalty, we kings and queens, yada, 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 yada. But when we gonna start doing king and queen shit other than claiming it? See, there's more to life than just saying it. When you gonna be about that life? When you gonna be about that life? I told y'all my stories. Roy just said some, and we ain't even on the same page. But the OGs, the good criminals, if you want to call them that, they protected a certain group of people. The people who had potential, they made sure that potential stayed with them. Everybody now is so selfish. They're so self-centered. They always want, what can I get for me? What can I get for me? Not what can I do? What can I do to be a part of positive change? We got a black network, unapologetically black. That don't mean we exclude white people, but we're unapologetically black. And it's fine to look back at the history. But at some point, you can't keep looking in the rearview mirror if you're trying to go forward. History gives you an indicator of what not to do. We're still doing those same things. We cannot keep blaming somebody and waiting for that knight in shining armor to come do the right thing. Who's going to come save us? Who's going to come save us? See, before we take this commercial break, before I could start being an advocate for mental health, I had to admit to people that I had a mental health problem so they could see it. So now they know somebody. They know, not know of, they know somebody who suffers from severe depression. It's a hard thing for me to say out loud because I had to own it now. Before, it was just my dirty little secret. But how can I help people unless I admit that I am a victim? It got me. There's nothing I can do about it, but I can work on it. I can tell people what I go through. I can tell people how I get through it. Trina can tell y'all what it's like to live with somebody who has these. But until I own it, I can't sit back and say I got my depression because of the white man. I got my depression because of this. I got my depression because of Roy. I can't keep sitting back and blame. I got to accept the fact that I got it and see what I can do to control it or make it better. I could sit back and complain about all the things I didn't get in life, or I could try to make them better. The choices are mine. No, Antoinette, you see it a little differently, and that's another thing we got to stop doing. We got to stop speaking for a whole group of people. I can't say what men do. I can say what DVP do. Because I dislike when people start saying all men like this or women like this. No, Roy can speak for Roy. Roy can't tell you what DVP choice is going to be. Roy can say, well, I think DVP would probably do this. Roy can't say.
Yes, I can.
Roy can't say.
Somebody today, if he can't touch the elbows, he ain't with it. Yes, I can.
But we'll say that people, ain't no man going to date a woman who does this. There are men who love drama, so they will date drama-filled women. They are grown men with jobs, careers. They still love drama. We all like something different. We all hate something different. How was I traumatized by system? I wasn't. I knew I was black. I knew poor white people. I couldn't understand what it was. And most of us don't know what systemic or systematic racism is. It's a catchphrase we love to use. Kind of like being an alpha. Kind of like, what's the other word that everybody like? Everybody want to call people bipolar. Everybody want to call people simp. We catch on to some words and we love using them without knowing the proper definition. But this is what we're going to do, because I'm going to be a better co-host in these last 3 months of the year. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to come back to the sock that y'all came for. It's all her fault. It's all her fault. So, Roy, take us to commercial break, sir.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Did y'all miss me? The right answer is yeah. All right, Roy has something he want to give me an update on before we move on to the "It's All Her Fault" segment.
Yeah, actually, I did want to kind of jump in on the systematic racism. I do believe it's real, and I think that's one of the things that we have to look at, and we have to understand it. And I think we have to. I think there's enough of us who don't acknowledge it, who just don't agree with it, saying that it's real, and it is, because what we have to look at, just looking at what it says itself, it's systematic. What that means, even in that definition, it's telling you that it's not always going to impact the individual, but it's going to impact a large number of people in any particular group. And I think that's where we're missing it at, because, like you said, there are a lot of things that I can look at, like we just talked about, that we didn't get engaged in because the system put it in front of us. But then there are also a lot of people who did fall through the cracks, who did jump into drug dealing because they felt it was their only option out. So systematic racism is a real thing. I think ultimately the issue is the same that it's always been with us, that I say, you know me, one of the things that I say all the time, I say the Black community's biggest problem is Black men. The Black community's best solution to fix their problem is Black men. So it's almost a catch-22 where we are the problem and the solution at the same time. And it's just a choice. And it's not saying that there are not brothers out there who are not doing the things that they're supposed to do, or who are not doing the things. We got plenty of brothers out there doing the things that they need to do. The problem is those guys don't get publicized. Those guys don't get the notoriety. But anytime somebody, and the perfect example that everybody can think of, because this one good guy does get quote unquote the publicity at times, Future still get more publicity than Russell Westbrook. Still get. Dude got 12 baby mamas and all this stuff, and you still hear more about Future than you hear about Russell Westbrook doing his thing. And it's just like these are the things that we as a community have been so brainwashed and we've been so conditioned that we have got to figure out a way. Well, let me change that. We already got an idea of a way to do it. We just got to get to the point where we can do it. So, but there it is. All right, now on to the next thing. Go ahead. That was it.
All right, now this is where me and Roy, we so in line with this. See, I know Roy thinks a lot of things, but the one something we agree on: There is nothing, absolutely nothing in this world greater than a black woman. I'm going to stick with that.
Oh, wait. There it is. Two of them.
What's up, Hurst? There's nothing greater than the black woman. Nothing. But as I said, when I was closing out the last segment, I'm looking at all this is her fault stuff. It's her fault stuff. And I'm glad Hurst is here because I know he's going to have some comeback. All these men want to be something. I was listening to a show yesterday where I was invited to speak, and I knew not to go because, as I told Roy, I don't want to go on somebody else's show to try to shame them. And if I feel that we're going to be combative in a bad sense, I don't want to do it. My whole purpose of having people on the show who disagree with me is for us to exchange information, for us to have intelligent dialogue, whether we agree or not. Me and Roy do this quite a bit on things we don't agree. There are some things that me and Roy don't see eye to eye on, but through conversation, at least we have a meeting of the minds where we can understand what the other one's saying. We don't have to agree, but we can understand. Same thing with Antoinette. We don't have to agree, just understanding how these play into it. Now, Her says having 12 baby mamas is not wrong. Not taking the children will be. And see, this is where we start to wholly disagree. Because we talked about this. One of the best quotes we got from this show: presence over presence. Being there is better than giving. Everybody who can agree to that. Having you there, having you at a ball game is better than buying you cleats for the child growing up. That's what they need, your presence. When you got 12, when these dudes got these 12 baby mamas, they can't be there. They're perpetuating the system. Now their son knows they don't have to be there because they ain't never seen you. It becomes so second nature. And I wonder where you learn this from, because I'm amazed at the amount of guys who tell me about their grandmama and granddaddy. So if you had a grandmama and granddaddy and you saw this, how did you not take care of your child's mother? How did you not marry your child's mother? And we blame women for everything. We blame them for everything. Because as I said, it's easier than being accountable. It's easier than being accountable. So the guy on the show last night was talking about foster care and some other things. And one of his comments to fixing the system was teaching women to keep their legs closed. Wow, ain't that some shit? Roy got daughters. I got daughters. I think that is one of the most asinine things ever to say, because as a biological fact, scientifically, women gonna drop eggs every month until they hit a certain age. Nothing will happen. Nothing will ever happen to those eggs unless an outside source comes into them. And we like to give ourselves early excuses. Men will be men. Well, you know what men don't do? Men, grown-ass men, not just the biological feature of men, but grown-ass men who earn the title, don't just have sex with everybody who want to have sex with them. So that's part of being a man, the ability to say no, the ability to make wise decisions. So these men, these grown-ass men who want submission, who want to be kings, when are you going to start doing king-like shit? See, you don't have an empire to leave behind like kings did, where they could go from neighboring one village to another village that they were under control and leave somebody in charge. You ain't that type of king. You're a shitty king. But we want these women to call us kings and submit to us while we constantly make bad decisions. And it's always her fault because she should have chose better. And again, I'm going to use me and Roy because we cool as hell. So Trina dealt with me. I wasn't shit. Roy looks like me. He got a beard, he got a mustache, he got a bald head. But she don't want to deal with Roy because Roy reminds her of me. But Roy, hey, you got to give me a chance. And she won't give Roy a chance because he looks like me. Trina ain't shit because she's prejudging him on something. So she give him a chance. Roy fuck her over. She should have knew better. But when are we supposed to know better? When is the king? When is the ruler? When is the one who wants everybody to bow down to him supposed to know better? I'm trying to understand this. As we claim to want to protect as we claim to want to do these things, every time I look up, it's her fault. It's her fault. I watched quite a few of these killings. And I see, when I watch these videos of women being abused, I hear a male voice in the background narrating. I see the video coming from a male's page. They okay with this. And you wonder why the women don't feel safe around us. Because we're not going to protect them. I had Trent on the phone with me one day, and there was a guy who wanted to argue me this point about women and this and yada, yada, yada. And I just said, let me ask you a couple of questions, player. If we cool. If me and you go to the club and somebody swing on me, what you gonna do? Oh, he said, oh, you know we fighting. Cool. If me and you go to the club and you see a brother hit his woman, what you gonna do? Shit, I ain't gonna do nothing. Why do you feel the need to help me, but you don't feel the need to help that woman? She probably did something to deserve it. So you don't think I did nothing to deserve getting hit? It don't matter, we friends. So you won't help a woman who may need your help, but you gonna help me, who's an accomplished fighter, because you think. I said, see how dumb a theory that is? And I asked this of some other dudes. And then, what up, Robert? And they were saying the same thing. You don't want to protect women, but you want them to feel safe around you. Make that shit make sense to me.
D, so here's one of the things that, unfortunately, no, let me say this stuff in the correct order. I agree with you, but unfortunately, there is a reality of that. Because I've personally been in the situation where I was out somewhere, saw a dude getting on this girl, and then stepped in the middle of it. Where I stepped in like, yo, come on, bro, back up. And I actually ended up having to change my approach with it just to get it, to get them, to get them to stop or whatever. Because as soon as I stepped in between them, she caught an attitude. She was like, this my man. This is, don't be, we this is what we do. And I'm just like, yo, somebody calm down. And dude was still hot. And so I had to turn, like, she was on a whole different emotional level. And I had to turn around to the dude and was like, look, bro, they done already called the police. All that's going to happen when they get here is they going to take you to jail. It ain't going to be no questions because of the fact that she's a woman, you're a man. They're going to take you to jail for doing what y'all doing out here. If y'all want to keep doing it, I would suggest you just go home and do it. Don't do it here. Because like I said, she coming at me and I'm having to back up and be like, yo, sis, calm down. And then like I said, we have that situation, and we do know that there are people who have these, we talked about this on a couple of shows, who have these volatile relationships and things of that nature. But again, I think the reality of it is having daughters. Having daughters makes it almost impossible for me not to step in when I see something like that happen. Because whenever I see a woman in that situation, all I can think about is my daughters and my little sisters. And the reaction that I'm going to have, that I want somebody to do something, because in my mind, my daughter isn't going to do anything that's going to cause some dude to want to jump on her like that for no reason. So
what's the cause to make this dude all of a sudden feel threatened by a woman? And Hirsch, what you're saying makes no sense. What you're saying makes no sense. Yes, that theory sounds super. Going out protecting random women will get you killed. How many friends done got killed protecting friends? See, when you scared, that's the theory you come up with. So the dudes that jump random women are more violent than the dude that jumped me. That is a scary theory. What? Oh, damn, what you say, Brian? I've broken up so many fights in Dallas. I should get them up. Brian, did you get shot? Did you get killed? Brian made a post about he helped some strange women. See, we have become, me, you, Roy, because now everybody look like us. We have become so scared of helping women, but we want them to submit to us. See, a king runs a colony. A king runs a kingdom. Guess who he's responsible for protecting? Every single person in that kingdom, whether he knows them or not. So when we talk about we want to protect the black race, except for her and her, because I don't know her. Get the fuck out of here. If that's your whole mindset, then you belong on the island with just you and your buddies. Well, y'all ain't got to worry about shit. But then you ask a woman for a favor. But let me tell you something, shawty. All I want from you is sex. If somebody try to jump you, you on your own, because I'm not finna try to help you. You help your women. So when you ain't around, Hirsch, who helps your women? You just like what, F them? If y'all ain't around me, just like the dude who made the post. Oh, a woman should, it's safer for a woman to stay in an abusive relationship with the man she know because at least he love her. How effing stupid is that? This is what we try to put on women. It's all her fault when they don't do things that acquiesce to our insufficiencies. When you look at the George Floyd killer, my favorite example, there was a trained fighter who stood there and said, hey, stop, you're killing him. But all y'all do is swear y'all tough. I look at y'all on Facebook. You want to fight me for saying something. You don't know me. What we fighting over? What we fighting over? You don't know. But if a woman is in your presence and you're willing to let her get hurt because you don't know her, then admit what you are. You are a sucker. But you quick to claim, oh, I'm an alpha. I'm going to do this. I run shit. What you running? What was he supposed to do? See, that's a cowardly response. He ain't have to, all he had to do walk over there and push him off. One cop had his hand in his pocket, and now a cop had their hand on their gun. If you always afraid, just say you're going to always be afraid. Life is just that simple because you don't want to make a change. Now, see, this is the good part of the show. Wouldn't it have been great if Martin Luther King said, I don't know these niggas, I'm not going to do nothing for them? What if Malcolm X would have said, I don't know these niggas, I ain't going to do nothing for them? Everybody who did something for us didn't know who the fuck we were. But y'all won't do nothing for people because you're a coward. But you quick to blame it on a woman because it's her fault. But this is the woman you want favor from. This is the woman that you want to accept your seed that you don't want to pay for so you can run out and run the street because it's all her fault. You're right. Hirsch, you're not a hero. You keep talking about you ain't dying for no strangers, but lots of people have died for their friends. So you keep acting like, oh, if it's my friend, they can't shoot me. You don't get no fucking invisible shield because you help your friend fight. Look at who getting shot. Look at who getting shot, Hirsch. But you willing to let kids get shot because you don't know them. That's what you saying. So yes, if you call yourself a sucker, I'm going to co-sign your shit because you said it first. But if you're willing to stand back and do nothing, I don't know them people, and you never will get to know them. And like I said, I noticed you didn't answer the question. When your women ain't around you, what do you say? Hey, if y'all ain't around me, if y'all get killed, so effing what? So effing what? You should have been around me. But it's her fault. You know why it's her fault? Because she made the wrong decision when she know that you ain't going to do shit because you got all these parameters of things she got to do. But every time, every single effing time a black man get in trouble, who is the first people you see coming to him? Women that don't know shit about him, who want to protect us, who need us to protect them. They do everything they can to stand up for us. And what do? We gladly, we excitedly step behind their asses and act like little punks. Because, oh, we need her protection. We need her protection. While we kings and queens, we flaunting pictures with all our guns, talking about we ready for the white man. What you ready for the white man for? He just shooting up your neighborhood, not people you know. What you ready for? We ready for war. But all you want to do is fight other people who you don't know, and you don't know why. As long as a woman ain't involved. As soon as a woman get involved, the thing change. Go ahead, sir.
Let me jump in because it's like
go on and jump in. What my damn? I need something to drink.
I get what dude is saying, and I mean you kind of made this point, and I tell people it's like at some point I'm gonna say it in a different manner because it's not about being a hero. You know, brother talking, he's like he's not gonna be a hero to jump in front of something. Again, that's why I use the perception that I have, the fact that I have 2 daughters, a granddaughter. I've got 3 younger sisters. I was not always around to protect them. And I've always said to them, I'm not going to be the one. I'm never going to be the reason that you get dogged on. Ain't no bad karma coming from your brother. But nothing with no women. Nothing like that. So ain't no, nothing that you have happen that's going to be there. And conversely, I do make it a point. I'm that dude that stops on the highway when I see women standing outside of their car and the cars broke down. You know, I'm the guy that will stop. 9 out of 10 times. The only time I'm usually not going to stop is if I'm on a tight schedule and I have to be somewhere. But even then, I'll call 911 and say, hey, there's a family or a lady sitting out on the side of the road at such and such a mile marker. Again, I'm going to step in that space if I see somebody who see a woman who's in danger and a man is there. Because, yeah, this whole thing about us watching and filming, I mean, it bothers me. Like you said, it does bother me that men do that. But I wholeheartedly understand, because we've also seen it go bad the wrong way. And you made the point. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to decide: are we going to let that fear run our lives, or are we going to make a difference? Are we going to do something? Are we going to be different? One of the things that I've always said to my kids is that it is always the right time to do the right thing.
Say it again.
It is always the right time to do the right thing. It's not going to be comfortable. It is not always going to be something that you feel like, oh, you know, we can do this. Now, it may be a different story. If you're out somewhere and you see a dude and you know he got a pistol, you know, like I said, what I try to do is I go at people when I assess whatever the situation is, go at them from try to get them to get to some logical standpoint. Because usually men, we're at we may be mad, but you can get to us on some logical level. And that's the first thing, you know, I'm gonna tell them, like, look, dude, bro, you know, you out here in the middle of this, all these people got cameras. It don't matter what happened, because did nobody see nothing until you slapped her. We don't know what she did to you. Don't nobody know that. Everybody got you slapping her on camera. The police on their way. You know, you do something to try to break it up. But you're right. Because one of the things that I do have to be cognizant of, and this is something you talk about, I cannot leave my kingdom and my family in a bad place where I'm no longer there. But I just think you just have to weigh the situations, and you have to be able. I don't get as bad at people who won't do anything. Now, I do find it odd with the two scenarios that you gave. That, you know, if it's your friend, because even with me, like I said, this is the Jedi in me. I'm going to try to avoid conflict. Even if it's my boy, I'll be like, let's go ahead and go somewhere else and do what we're gonna do. If we can't avoid conflict, then we got to deal with it. And that's what I tell people. I say, see, I don't like conflict because I know how I am in conflict. And a lot of people just don't want none of that. They just don't know that, though. And so we have to be able to just get into a space, man. There's got to be a balance. We do have crazy people out there. We do have some of these nutcases, these wannabe thugs. Just like, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna let you jump back in. And we talked about this. I think we talked about this on one of the shows. It was completely and totally irresponsible for Snoop to say what he did about that woman Gail, whatever that whole situation was. Mm-hmm. It was completely irresponsible for him to say that. Why? Because he's an OG, and he knows some young cat out there that's trying to get a name made, and he painted a target on that woman's back when he said that. But it was completely irresponsible for him to do that.
Right. But ain't nobody said nothing about R. Kelly and these women out there, they trying to defend him. A predator. See, dudes love to try to defend their boys because they all fucking soft. Hurst, yeah. If that's what you and your boys think, yeah, I'm calling y'all soft. Because why do you feel the need to back up your boy? So if he a grown ass man, if he step into some shit, he's be able to wipe that shit off his own shoe. See, when women do things, and hear what Roy said, and this is what we see way too often. We see men stepping up to women. They won't step up to another man. They like to step up to women and raise up and holler they alpha this, alpha that. I'm a king. You gonna respect me. They won't say it to a man. See, when you confront these little boys, they ain't going to get their gun because they worried about what you got. See, that's why they don't confront each other. See, that's why a grown man can step up, and you can tell by his aura. You can tell by that what he bringing. They don't want no pieces of that. Because see, like most play bullies, They only want to win. If it's a chance that they're going to lose, they're going to step back, which is why so many people step back when confronted, which is why we tell you, look at men in the eye when they saying something to you. Because once you can identify them, if they mean you harm, when you look up at them, they don't see a submissive somebody no more. They see somebody who can identify them. Ain't nothing to defend Snoop. Snoop, like a coward, threatened a woman. See, that's the point. That's why women are seeing what they seeing. All she did was what reporters do. She asked a question. Now, I don't know if y'all seen this, but didn't Vanessa just get paid for suing the sheriff's department for releasing them pictures, Roy? Vanessa ain't no punk. Vanessa ain't said nothing bad about Gail. Lisa Leslie ain't said nothing bad. This is all dudes being extra sensitive with their logical selves because the first thing they want to do is threaten a woman. Oh, she out of pocket because she asked a question. That's what reporters do. That's what reporters do.
And let's get real. Socially, she was out of pocket. She was very wrong for what she did. And she probably did it for the exact reason that you said she did, to gain favor with the white power structure, because that's what they love to do. Because she was the one that, this whole thing was about what she said about Kobe, right? The question she asked about Kobe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So she was right, but it's two things that we got to remember in that. One, damn it, Kobe did it, so it's fair game. We got to stop trying to justify, regardless of who people are. If somebody did some bad shit, they did some bad shit. They did some wrong shit.
Accountability and responsibility.
Hold on. I never thought that Kobe raped that gal. I think what happened was her daddy found out she got bent over, and he got mad, and that's how all that came about. I definitely don't think he raped her. I'm like, hey, Kobe Bryant, the hell he got to rape somebody for him. But we won't. That's a whole nother discussion. But Snoop doing what he did, calling himself in defense of him, was wrong. And now I'm glad he at least came out and apologized. I think he came out because of his mom.
Yeah, because his mama came out and said something. Yeah, because she was a black woman who felt offended. And let me just interrupt you for a second. We talking about the same Snoop that already said he don't like black women. But guess who quick to jump on his tip? Black men. Snoop has said he don't like black women. Every time he cheat on his black wife, he do it with a woman of another race. So yeah, F Snoop. Snoop done said how he respects black women. Not. Really? Yes. He's made it public knowledge. He said his wife is the only black woman he would ever mess with. Ever. Ever.
Wow, I ain't never heard that.
Yeah. Oh, he said. So here again, we're talking about a woman hater. We're talking about, I know he married a black woman. I just said that. But who is he cheating with, Hirsch? Who is he cheating with? Who is he coached up with on his show? Martha Stewart. And we don't talk nothing about him and Donald Trump. We'll talk about everybody else. But Snoop was taking pictures with Donald Trump. Snoop is as big a sellout as Umar and everybody else. Snoop ain't shit. Ain't shit. So he married a black woman that he constantly cheats on. That's respectable. He don't even try to hide his cheating. That's so respectable. And I see a whole group of dudes like you, y'all like that. Oh, having 12 baby mamas ain't no big deal as long as you can afford them. Because you're leaving all these kids behind.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. I gotta roll back in. I just saw something that Hirsch said that I'm trying to go to the website now to pull it up to make sure I say it, that I say this here right. Because I really thought I saw him type something in there where he said black women are against black power. And I'm gonna almost need I'm black power majority. I guess to say it in black power, majority of black women are actually against black power. So you want us to go, okay. So now I ain't had nothing that I was gonna totally disagree with you all until that damn shit right there. Because I don't think that that's the case at all. Because black women have been forced to be the black power in this country for a very long time. I mean, let's talk about a dummy and how black men are dealt with and how we feel something. Herschel Walker Ash just said he didn't realize he was black until he got his business, and it said minority owned. I mean, damn. I know his ass grew up in some country ass little place in Georgia. He the hell knew he was black.
He was a nigga. He wasn't even black. He was a
Right.
nigga in that little country town.
And to say that black women, let's say this. I'm going to assume, and Hirsch, please let me know if I'm kind of putting this framing the right way, because this is what I'm hoping that you're saying. That there is a large number or a lot of black women who may be considered against what we call black power, because they don't feel that it's a situation where they are respected in a sense, or that they have been, just like some men have been brainwashed to the point where they have to get what we like to call, in our sports sphere, we call it, they need a proximity to whiteness to feel validated. And this is because, and I do believe that there are a lot of both black women and black men who are in that mindset, who are of the fact that if it's not close to white people, it ain't right, or it's wrong, and something's gonna be done that way. So if you say that, hell, I will wholeheartedly actually agree with you. I do think it's way too many of us out there who feel that way. But just to say black women in general are, not because they've had to carry who we are as a nation, and that's something that can't nobody argue. I'm sorry. We may not like to hear it, but they had no choice. So yeah.
And we oh my God, we hang on this, we hang our heads on this, and then we try to double down and say that black women don't like us. You gotta be shitting me. You gotta be shitting me. They with us 24/7 defending us. Every time you look up, they're somewhere defending us. Brian, then you can do, Brian, say what you got to say, bro. You know how we do this. You know how we do this. I just posted the article where Snoop takes to the black women is coming. But if you scared of black women, if that's your reason for not defending them, say that. But you can't find a time when they ain't defended us. Tell me again now. Tell me again. Read the book, Hirsch. Who was against Harriet Tubman? It was her husband. It was her husband. Not another white woman. It was her husband who tried to talk her out of freeing slaves. Because you know what? He fell back into that. She did a damn thing anyway. But it's easy for us to come up with fake narratives to make us feel better. It's easy for us to do that. See, everybody knows who Rosa Parks is because of a black man, but they don't talk about Claudette Colvin, who was the original black woman who refused to give up her seat, but because she was a teenager of a darker persuasion, the good colored people of the NAACP didn't want her face to be the face of their march, so they chose to have a lighter, older woman. See, a black man discriminated against a black woman. But we don't want to talk about that because we would rather live with the fact that Rosa Parks was the one who said she wasn't getting up. When it was Claudette Colvin who said it, it was Claudette Colvin who did it. But because she was a young black teenager who just happened to be pregnant and won't nobody talk about who the baby daddy was, because it was a black man who walked out of her life, who preyed on her young ass, but we don't want to have that conversation and then didn't want to defend her. See, black men, we love to get women pregnant. I asked the thing on my thing and everybody tried to dance around it. Why is it that black men seem to want to move in with black women? Why? Why do black men want to move in with black women? You are a king, remember? You're a king. Black men will get a woman pregnant and not have a place for her to live. Black men will get a woman pregnant and want her to have an abortion. Condoms have always been cheaper than child support, but you want her to make lifelong decisions for your few minutes of fame and fortune and feel good because it's all her fault. See, Brown reveals got me in trouble because he made me look up a crime called stealthing. Stealthing, for those of y'all who don't know what it is. Stealthing is when a man is given permission to have sex with a woman and he sneakily removes the condom because he wants to feel good. It's a crime now. Women ain't sneakily removing the condoms. Dudes are, because they want that feel good. They want to plant that seed, but they don't want to pay for the cost of that flower that grows from the seed. She should have known better. She should have been able to look at me and tell I was a tricky piece of shit, and if she let me hit it from the back, I was going to pull it off. See, we will blame her for everything. We won't take responsibility for nothing, and then we will sit back and say, oh, black women don't like us. I made a whole post about this. Ladies and gentlemen, why in the hell are you dealing with a woman who don't like you? That makes you stupid. If Trina Marie would have said, hey, I don't like men with beards, I'm not finna convince Trina Marie what she missing. I'm not finna try to tell Trina Marie how good her life can be. I am done with that conversation. She has told me she don't want me. So when I keep trying to make her want me, and then she use and abuse me, oh, look at them, women ain't shit. She told me up front, she did not want me. But I tried to make her see the error of her way just so I could get them cookies. But it's her fault. Brett, don't make me block you. Only thing me and Umar got in common is that we black. That's it. Don't make me, Brett, go back to cooking. Leave me alone. This is what we do. This is what we do. Every time I come on, are there women who don't like black men? Absolutely. You know what our choices are? Roy. Roy is the calmer version right now. Roy is a deacon in the church. Roy, if you trying to holler at a woman and you believe black women are everything, is that right, Roy? You can just shake your head. You ain't got to cut your mic on. But don't you believe black women are everything?
That's my hashtag, and I'm sticking to it, damn it.
And don't you want you one? Don't you want you one, Roy?
Yes, sir.
But who is your celebrity crush again?
Oh, dog. I mean, you know, which one of the
Just pick one. Just pick one. Regina King?
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall. So yeah. if we doing a show on Regina Hall, pop into the thing and you get a chance to meet her and she look down her nose at you and tell you that she only like men of European descent, how long you gonna still keep a crush on her?
Oh yeah, that'd disappear.
See, ain't no need in trying to make something happen when they tell you you ain't what they want. See, that's that nigga shit again. Because we want something so bad.
Anyone convinced against their will remains unconvinced.
So, Roy can change his philosophy. Roy can say he still want to hit it, but ain't no need in trying to make her no keeper. She done already said she don't want it. Even though he may be the perfect brother for her, in his mind, she done said, I don't want your kind. So why are we still trying to do this? So if a woman tell you she don't want your kind, she don't want your ilk, ain't no need in trying to convince her otherwise. When a woman says, and I hear them say this, I don't need no man. Guess what? I don't fucking date them. I don't date them. Why am I trying to change her mind? Then I'm going to get upset because she is who she told me she was? See, luckily, I don't know too many women who have ever made that statement and meant it in its entirety. When they say they don't need a man, they don't need a man to complete them. They don't need a man to do this, but they all need a man. They all want that completion. They all want that package. They want to be able to relax and live in their femininity because a man allows you to live in your femininity. See, I saw a thing today. How much time I got here? It says having a man in the house ain't the same as having a man of the house. And see, that's going to go a lot of people's head. But a man of the house is what these women want. That's what they need. We just want to be in the house, in their house. We don't want to put forth the effort that we require them to put forth with us. See, again, Roy running my JBN. Roy doing a lot of things that take away a lot of his time. So Roy needs a woman who has the patience of Job. So Roy got to understand that. The woman who wants Roy has to understand that. Why would Roy get with a woman who is needy of his time? Roy ain't got it. Roy's setting himself up for failure. So oh man, this chick, she act like she ain't know. But did you tell her that she was gonna need time? Well, I was gonna trick her first. What the fuck you doing? This is what we do. And then it's so easy to blame her. See, I used to be that old ass boy who passed the test that said I was a male by birth. I would blame women for stuff that was going on when it was actually my fault. It was my fault. You can't be a king and blame everybody else. You can't be a leader. What did he claim? He part of Black Power? When the fuck is power being scared of shit? When? When? Oh. Cops spend the majority of their life helping total strangers. How many of them get shot for helping total strangers? Oh, they got guns. According to what y'all say, all you niggas got guns too. So what you scared of? What you scared of? And then, damn, every time you look up at some stuff, you see white dudes stepping up, stepping out, showing up and showing out. Not us. We can't wait to dog a black woman. We got mad at Serena because she picked a white guy. But Serena dated black guys who mistreated her. Halle Berry dated black guys who mistreated her. But we supposed to keep telling, just keep giving them another chance. But when we get burned, we don't want to give them another chance. We start talking about all women ain't shit. I've said before on this show, I have dated some exceptional women. They were not good for me. I let them go because I did not want them to waste their time. They wanted something that I could not give them. So as opposed to me just enjoying myself at their expense, I just let it go. I let it go. But that ain't what you want. You want to get the goods, but you ain't going to defend her unless she give you some. Several times. Because only your women are worth defending. Only your women are worth taking care of. But Hurst, last I checked, you ain't married. But you got kids. So you're a father and you paying your dues. But how present can you be? How present can you be? See, I notice a lot of little things about Roy. Roy love to do little stuff. He posts when he out with his daughters and stuff. But all his kids are grown. And Roy is still a presence in their life. Money is nice. And especially as they get older. But I can tell you this. And I ain't even asked Roy. Ain't nothing like this because I got kids. Ain't nothing like the light in their eyes when they see you. Because that's what parenthood is all about. Am I not right, Roy? When they see you at a graduation, when they see you at an event, and their eyes light up right quick, because you're there. You might not even make the whole event, but as soon as they see you, you made the last 5 minutes of a basketball game. They don't know how long you've been there, but you made them last 5 minutes. So when they was looking in the crowd, they saw you. Life is all good. Win, lose, or draw. Daddy's here. Whatever he was doing, he took the time out to come see me. They feel protected. Women want that same thing from us. The same thing. The same thing. Man, I wish I had Trent on the show so we could have this conversation. But what's up, Gwen? I'm sorry I should have spoke to you earlier, but I've been going at it because this whole thing, it's all her fault, has been bothering the living shit out of me for the longest because we keep blaming. We don't want to take no accountability or responsibility for the choices we make or the games that we play to get these women, but we want to blame them for being hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray by somebody who looks like us that knew they meant they meant no good too. And then we got Hirsch on here talking about, oh, I ain't defending nobody that ain't mine. And that's cool if that's your mentality. I'm just saying it's crazy. And again, as we go back to the first segment, that's why the village sucks, because nobody wants to put into the village. Everybody wants to take out of the village. Everybody wants to pull from the village. Don't nobody want to give shit. Why is that? Why is that? I guarantee, I believe in my heart of hearts, if Brian Reveals come to Georgia, or I go to wherever he is, and we sit down and break bread and have tequila and whatever, if Trina is with us, when I go to the bathroom, if somebody says something to Trina while I'm gone, or put their hand on Trina, I have no doubts in my mind that Brian is going to correct that issue. He ain't going to sit back and be like, shit, wait till D get back, because that D woman, D going to fuck that dude up. I believe the same thing of Roy. Ain't they woman? But they part of the village. They part of the giving of the village, not just the taking away, not just the taking away. And how do we usually connect with people? What do we always talk about? When a stranger does a good deed, it makes all of us feel a little bit closer. We met people. See, and I'm going to get off before Roy give me that look. I didn't know Roy. We were total strangers until Roy spoke to me. But what if I would have said, I don't fuck with people I don't know? Then none of us would know anybody. But Roy spoke, and Roy spoke positivity to a brother he didn't know nothing about, other than I was a nice dresser. That's all Roy really knew about me. I walk through the club, people move out my way, give me free food or whatever. He didn't know a whole lot about me. He spoke He spoke positivity to me without even knowing. He didn't have to say shit to me. He could have stayed over there in the section like most people did. See, this is where we screw up, because we don't want to do for somebody else unless we see something where we can get something out of it. No, the village don't need codes, Gwen. The village needs willing and active participants, not takers. We need people who giving into the village. We need people who putting into it. Who's arranging the neighborhood watch? Who's in charge of the watch group? Who's in charge of making sure the kids eat? Who's in charge of this? As opposed to just saying, hey, I got kids. What y'all got for them? Hey, I got kids. What y'all got for them? Hey, my light's off. Anybody paying the light bill?
Robert, they was getting the free food. I was mad. I'm out here doing video. I had to negotiate free food into my contract. You just walking in getting free stuff.
And that's what we are. But hey, y'all ain't finna get me in trouble. We're gonna do a part 2. I'm gonna make sure you hear Antoinette, since you said I was ignoring you on the first part, because we're gonna revisit the village. We're gonna revisit mental health, because y'all know that's one of my things. I'm gonna have Robert here who gonna talk. I'm the only one who gonna tell the truth, because you ain't a sucker for love. It ain't got nothing to do with love, Hurst. And that's where you a sucker, because you always come and say dumb shit and think you're gonna get away with it. You was the same brother who said Kamala wasn't black because whatever dumbass reason you got. You live in a fantasy world, Hurst. You live in a fantasy world. Love ain't got shit to do with it. Love ain't got nothing. You don't love these people. You don't love them, Hurst. You like to call women low-hanging fruit. Tell me how that's love. You don't love them. It's in your post, brother. You sat here and ain't read the Crime Bill Act, but you blame it on a white dude because you don't want to accept accountability and responsibility for shit. You keep coming up with lame excuses. Roy probably remember that, because Roy told you don't say nothing else until you read it, because you never read it. You were repeating some bullshit that you heard, and you tried to make it factual because you kept saying it over and over and over and over. It's kind of like when niggas keep hollering, I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king. I don't give a shit how many times you say it. As a man once pointed out to me so eloquently, if you paying property taxes, you don't own shit. Therefore, you ain't a fucking king, because kings don't pay taxes. They collect them. In the subject. Bam, mic drop. You love black women who love black people. But why? You ain't going to defend them unless they part of your tribe. You don't love black women. You love women who will succumb and bow down to you. You want them to submit to you while you do absolutely nothing for them, but say you part of the black power. People love who love them. You ain't showing no love. Love starts from within. Then it can branch out. See? We open doors for totally strange women because we're Southern gentlemen, not because they part of our tribe, clan, or nothing else. It's just I think Roy said it earlier. What'd you say about doing the right thing, Roy? It's never the wrong time to do the right thing.
That's backwards, but yeah, it's always the right time to do the right thing.
You could be a king in the African sense, and they still did the same thing. Kings didn't come from Europe. See, that mindset tells me where you are. They had kings in Africa, young brother. Read up on it. They did the same thing. They protected their villages and everybody in them. Right. Give me the sign that says it's time to go before I have before I pass out from the heat. Cause ain't you got another show to do that don't need editing or get me frustrated and have my voice sound like Froggy from Little Rascals? So, right, tell them what we got coming for them. Let me drink my drink.
Well, we're actually working on some new space, so we're hopefully going to be getting ready to start the live shows back up sometime soon. We got a couple of things popping off, so we'll be letting y'all know about that. Got a lot of sports stuff that's going to be coming out. We'll probably have some schedules. They'll probably have some schedules put out in the next 2 weeks, so y'all will be able to see some of the stuff that we're doing. Damn, I do have to go, but I need you to tell me, Hirsch, you saying that they didn't have kings in Africa. Yeah, I might need you to explain that one to me. Because being someone who actually studied African American history in college and has been a student of history for years prior to that, I would have to disagree with that statement saying that we did not have kings in Africa. You know, and I want to say, because I haven't used the name in a long time. I know we used Kemet for Egypt. I got to go back and remember what the actual name of what the black people called the continent before the white folks came in and did that.
Don't worry about it. I just post a link. You can go to Amazon and buy a book. It's called 100 Great African Kings and Queens. You can read up on it. You can get it on Kindle for $3. $3. 100 great African kings and queens. Damn. But see, you're a pusher of false knowledge. And you okay with that. You okay with that. Why you can't school me on what I just gave you the link? I know the white man wrote it. You got my inbox. You can give me your fake messages. And I'm gonna tell you the same thing me and Roy told you before. Read the crime bill and tell me how federal law got people on a state level. You never did that. You never did that because you don't want to read. But y'all know what it is. I want to thank Roy for giving me this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to damn sure do a part 2. Antoinette, the book is misleading, but not wrong. You ain't even read the book because we know you don't like reading. Samuel, thank you. See, these people, I ain't never even met Samuel. Everybody telling you, but everybody wrong except Hirsch. Gotcha. Anyway, this is Random Thoughts with DVP. It's the 31st of August. Y'all know what it is. I ain't it because I put too much tequila in him. But y'all know what it is. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And I'm out. Rob, appreciate you. And I love you like you don't even know, brother. Have a happy birthday.